You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365, and heck, hit me up on Venmo at MitchellRenz365. I went through my Raider Nation rumors in general, and my news topics. Now the Oakland Raiders have the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft if it started today. What could they do with that 3rd overall pick? Well, I think they could look at a player like Greedy Williams, a cornerback out of LSU. I like Greedy because what's the most important thing that a cornerback needs? It's a good name. And you can't tell me that Greedy Williams isn't the best cornerback name that you've ever heard. He's a super tall guy, 6'3", 185 pounds, and he's just a standout at LSU. Super athletic. He's an unbelievably athletic player, and what I think is most important, I don't necessarily think the Raiders can miss on Greedy. Now, we know that they've missed on Garyon Conley. They've missed on Carl Joseph. Like, we've missed on our first-round picks before. I don't think Greedy's a player that you can miss on. I think he's that talented. But in terms of what the Raiders actually need, I think they need a defensive end, and it's why that I have Clelin Ferrell ranked a little bit higher in terms of Raiders' needs. So, if they're sitting there at the 3rd pick and Nick Bosa's off the board, I think you could potentially look at them and look at picking them Ferrell. The fact that they need the pass rush is the only reason why I'm saying this. I actually think this is a little bit of a reach. So the fact that they're reaching for him, makes me a little bit uneasy. But if you watch him, he was a top 5 player. He probably could have been a top 5 pick last year. That Clemson defensive line is absolutely incredible to watch. So if you get time to watch him, go out and do it. But what would I do if I was the Raiders, if I had the 3rd overall pick? I'd trade it. I would honestly trade the pick to get more picks. Why? Because if you don't have the 1st overall pick and you're not going to get Nick Bosa, you're going to reach for every other player that I think that you potentially need. The Raiders need a defensive end. Now, this class is super loaded, which is the other reason why I think you could, stockpile more draft picks, which is obviously, we know, very important to Gruden. So, if I'm the Oakland Raiders and I'm looking at and I'm sitting there at the 3rd overall pick spot, I'm trading the pick. So, Raiders, 3rd overall pick. Here are their 2019 draft options if the draft started today. I think they could either trade it. You could look at Clelin Ferrell or Greedy Williams. Those are my 3 things that I guess the Oakland Raiders could do in 2019 draft. But if the Raiders don't have the number 1 pick, should they trade it? And I want to know from you. The Raiders, it's personally for me, I would ultimately end up trading it. Now, could be out there looking for Justin Herbert. You could be looking for other players as well. But if the Raiders don't have the number 1 overall pick, I'm trading it. But I want to know from you, what should the Raiders do if they don't have the number 1 overall pick? Whew, Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz, and give a shout out to BetDSI for hooking up Chat Sports with the best promo code on the internet.